Hello everybody, welcome back to Tyrion, Cuthbert, returning the arcade. You arrive back at the cathedral's garden and come across that accursed statue again. It's staring into my soul. And stop looking at it. Hey, Aster, my main man. As you move your attention away from the grotesque sculpture, you spot the Crown Prince. He's sitting on a bench, guarded by some knights from the King's Guard. His brow is furrowed and he seems to be deep in thought. Oh, Mr. Cuthbert, and Miss McCoy, too. What are you still doing here? We're trying to investigate what happened. We were looking around when we just happened to find you here. I see. Are you okay? Yes. I was just thinking about how unfortunate this ordeal has been. I do hope Miss Steelwind is taking this well. Right, she is his fiancée after all. He must be extremely worried about her. I'm trying to find out what exactly happened. Do you mind if we ask you some questions? I see. Well, I'll do whatever I can to help. You said that you two were investigating the murders. You weren't planning to defend Miss Steelwind, were you? If she would have me. She may be a competent prosecutor, but I have far more experience defending clients. Unfortunately, I think the situation is more complicated than that. What do you mean? Several House's leaders died today. We can't release this information to the public. Not after the news of William Fraker's death had already spread. In the course of 2 months, we've lost not one but 3 members of the Pillar families. Sorry, I keep burping. But the trial has to happen soon, or else the magical traces left will disappear. From what I've heard, we will be holding a trial, but it will be handled privately and internally. And I'm sorry to say that you won't be permitted to serve in such a trial. Right. The majority of the nobility hates me after all. You would be able to pull some strings, would you, Asta? I'm sorry. I'd like nothing more than to give you the opportunity to represent her. But I clearly have a personal attachment to this case. If I try to tip the trial in her favor, it will only harm her chances more. Right. I see what you mean. But even if we can't help her during the trial, we can still investigate the crimes on her behalf. Yes, I would really appreciate that. If new evidence is found, perhaps we can exonerate Miss Steelwind of the charges against her. After everything that's happened, I really need to know. Why were so many nobles gathered in one place anyways? All 4 of the Pillar families were present. I understand if you don't want to tell me, but this information could be vital in figuring out what really happened. No, I see your point. The truth is, we all gathered to mourn the death of my father, King Olivier de Wyvengard IX. Who? I knew that guy earlier. Wait, our king is dead? Yes. We wanted to avoid releasing this information to the public so close to the death of William Frege. My father had been ill for quite some time, so we were prepared for this. Or at least, I thought I was. Yeah, I thought it was gonna be like a anniversary for your mom. Damn, bro. Oh, that sucks. Broski's got full-on orphan. Oh, it's hilarious, an old orphan. Oh, that's so sad. I also lost my mother when I was quite young, but it's still a little hard to take in. I'm sorry. You have my condolences. Thank you. But if King Olivier is dead, that would make you. Yes, you currently stand for King Asta de Wyvengard, ruler of our kingdom. Considering everything that's happened, he seems less than thrilled about that. I suppose that explains why all of these nobles were gathered. Huh, they came under the guise of paying the respects. But it's still clear they all wanted to get closer to the new King of Wyvengard. I think the Freges were the only ones who genuinely came to give their condolences. That makes sense. Speaking of the Freges, I think you need to know. I saw Beatrice before I was knocked out. Shit, you're scary when you look like that. I think she might have been the one that killed Gearkias. Why would she be there? I'm sorry, I know she's your friend. But we already know she's not above committing murder. I see. I suppose if you're saying it, it must be so. What possible reason would she have to be involved in something like this? I'm not sure yet, but I plan to find that out. And by the way, where were you during the murders? I remember you left with Steelwind when Celeste and I arrived at the cathedral. Ah yes, Steelwind and I left to speak with High Speaker Arceus in his quarters. What was your meeting about? It was actually about our wedding. With my father's death, Lord Steelwind wanted to finally make our union official. Oh, I would congratulate you too, but considering the circumstances... I understand, and I appreciate your words nonetheless. Anyways, how long did this meeting last? I believe we spoke with him until 1:40 p.m. But Von Sanctus died at 2:05. That means that she began her rampage less than half an hour after that meeting. Was there anything off about her behavior? Now that you mention it, something about her demeanor changed. We were speaking of the wedding when she abruptly left. I asked her where she was going, but she ignored me. That sounds similar to what happened when Celeste fought her. There's no way she was affected by Mage Blight. Okay. I honestly didn't think much of it at the time. I'm quite used to her giving me the cold shoulder. Right. It's possible that the Steelwind that witnesses saw wasn't actually real. Does that mean the Steelwind that attended the meeting was also a fake? What did you see? Anyways, what happened after your meeting with the High Speaker? Did you see the Steelwind after that? Actually, I found myself caught up in something else entirely. At 2 p.m., I went to pay my respects at my father's coffin. But apparently, someone had set a magical trap there. What? It was a glyph of contingency. Caster must choose another spell that you know. The caster casts a spell, but the contingency is implemented if action instead it takes effect when a certain condition is fulfilled. I have heard of that spell. It's like a trap you can set, and you can infuse any spell into it. But it requires a second contingent spell to place that trap. Which spell was that? It was a false cage, targeting me. Was the murderer trying to attack Aster too? I don't think so. They would use a more lethal spell if they wanted to. But from the sounds of it, false cage can be dispelled. So Aster would have been trapped inside of it for that full hour. We think the murderer used this as a distraction. Because of that trap, the King's Guard consolidated most of their attention and forces on my location. As a result, there were fewer people guarding the Von Sanctus Sybil and Piers. And the ones that were there all fell comatose. They can't tell us what happened to them. Crazy. And yet another inexplicable event is added to the list. After everything you've learned, you highly doubt that Steelwind was affected by Mage Blight. So someone must be behind what happened, but who? Anywho, it seems like he's told you everything that he knows. He probably didn't witness much after he was trapped by that forced cage. You should move somewhere else and follow your other leads. Could that be Miriam trying to protect him? Oh, wait. What goes through the mind of such a tortured creature? What is with you and this statue? I don't know, but I can feel its emotions as if it were my own. It's an inanimate object, Tyrion. I know that. But who can't relate to the plight of the Pegasus? I don't know. This whole situation is quite a mess. I do consider myself lucky that you're here, Mr. Cuthbert. I appreciate your trust. I still can't make sense of what I've found so far. Well, if anyone can find out what happened, it's you. Thanks, bud. No. I'm glad you were with Mr. Cuthbert when the Ascendant struck, Miss McCoy. Who knows what would have happened if you weren't there? No, I failed completely. I let the murderer get past me. It could have killed Tyrion. You can't keep blaming yourself for what happened. But we're both safe now. That's what matters. Right. That's probably all. I guess we'll go to the Inquisition dungeon. You arrive at the dungeon to speak with Steelwind, but you can't find her anywhere. The Inquisition and the Kingsguard must still be processing her. We should come back later. Okay, well. What did I miss? There's still so many unknowns. We should continue looking for more clues. Don't push yourself too hard, okay? If you feel tired, don't be embarrassed to take a break. Right. Well, I'll try not to exert myself too much. Where do you think we should go next? What? Why are you asking me? I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out where to go next. Well, don't ask me. You're the attorney. I'm just the muscle. In the figurative sense. Right. She's been a bit on edge, but she still feels guilty over leaving you alone. I've examined everything. Move. I doubt I forgot anything in the garden.
Repario Arcanum.
Any other magic? What's going on here? Oof.
Repario Arcanum.
Did I finish talking to Aster? I would have sworn I did. Sure did.
Repario Arcanum.
What? What's going on here? I don't know. I'm trying to get him to talk about Aster and Alaric, but I guess the game doesn't want me to do that right now. What happened to Lucio? Hard window. The torches.
Repario Arcanum.
What's going on? No, I didn't see him out of the room. It's still lit.
Repario Arcanum.
Yeah, did all that. There's a chalk line in the center of the room. This must be where they found Montanus' body. There's a bit of ash there. Must be burnt fam into the body. Alright, was that it? No. Oh, there's some kind of debris on the ground. Pick up one of the pieces and put it in your hand. It appears to be some kind of gravel. Oh, jeez.
Repario Arcanum.
Okay. No? Is there anything? Birds? I can't believe someone killed Lady Sybil. Did you know her well? Quite well. We had many debates about how her family ran the judicial system. I found them quite frustrating. After speaking to her, I can kind of understand what you mean. Party hat. Wait. For a second, it looked like there was one without the stuff. She attacked a member of the royal family and killed several nobles. What else is there to investigate? The laws are clear about what we must do. We should execute her immediately. Look, the situation is far too much important. Far too much import to make such rash decisions. We need to approach this calmly and carefully. As he returned to the nave, he spot the young prince in an argument with that nobleman he saw earlier. Now that you think of it, you still have no idea who he is. Oh, it's you two. Your Highness? And I don't think we've been introduced. What? I see you're still as insolvent as ever. You stand before serving him as Frigile, Archduke and Royal Advisor to the Guard throne. I believe he means advisor. Archduke? You didn't even know the King of Guard had a title like that. Why haven't you ever heard of him before? Why are you two still here anyway? I thought the cathedral was closed for the investigation. We're investigating what happened on behalf of Prosecutor Steelwind. I see. Anyways, I have much to attend to. I'll be taking my leave. Alright, he's anxious. Is he avoiding you? Actually, since we have you here, I have some questions for you. The both of you. Humph, you should know your place, knave. Your Grace, where were you when the murder took place? Just what are you trying to insinuate? Please, Alaric, there's no need for that. To answer your question, I was speaking with Lady Fergus familiar. Tracker? No, it was the demon who calls himself Margaret. What? Why would you want to speak with him? He was actually the one who sent for me. According to him, he had some information that was of great importance to me. You didn't make a contract with him, did you? Of course not. What kind of desperate fool do you take me for? No, he gave me the information he had freely. But why would he do that? Demons are always supposed to be trying to trick humans into making deals with them. Looking back, it must have been a distraction. What a fool I was. I knew he was playing with me. But I knew he couldn't tell lies, and the information he had was too important to ignore. If you don't mind me asking, what was the information about? I'm sorry, but I can't reveal what he told me. It could endanger people that I care about. But rest assured, I doubt it has anything to do with the massacre. No, Grace, we've only just met. I can't exactly just take your word for it. Now, I suppose that's fair. But believe me when I say that I plan to take this information to my grave. That's ominous. He's clearly intending on keeping their conversation a secret. Anyways, several members of the King's Guard are watching us. They can verify my alibi. How long does this conversation last? I arrived to speak with him at 1:50 p.m. and didn't leave until 3:10. Whew. So he was accounted for during the time frame of the murders, but why would Marnock go to the trouble of distracting him in the first place? Whoever orchestrated this also used a forced cage to trap Aster. Were they trying to distract the forces in the cathedral? Or were they trying to keep certain people out of the crossfire? Either way, it's clear that Beatrice has a lot to answer for. Your Highness, we heard the prosecutor cast a spell on you when you saw the fire in the common room. Can you tell us more about what happened? I can't believe she attacked a member of the royal family. She was completely irresponsible with her magic. I understand you're feeling this, but we can't say for certain that she inflicted mage bite on herself. We don't even know if it was actually her. I saw her with my own eyes. Plenty of other people did too. Either way, where did this happen? It was on the path outside the common room. I saw smoke coming from the building, and I saw Steelwind walking away from it. It's been after she murdered Von Sanctus. I have a feeling I already know the answer, but was she behaving erratically? No, she very deliberately cast a spell on me. Which once again implies that Mage Rai wasn't behind this. Do you know which spell she cast on you? I'm not sure. I've never been affected by a spell like that before. From the magical traces on him, we know that it was a transmutation spell. Transmutation spells manipulate and change physical matter. It's just scary to think about what that might do to the human body. Are you sure he's okay? Word is that he has inspected him, and he doesn't appear to have any lasting injuries. We're hoping the spell's effects were only temporary. Can you describe what you felt while you were affected by it? It might help us identify which spell it was. Well, I was extremely dazed. My ears were ringing. My vision was also partially blurred. It was as if my mind was in some sort of fog. Whenever I tried to speak, I couldn't even form words with my mouth. I could only make grunting sounds. I couldn't walk either, so I had to crawl on the floor. I'm sorry you had to go through that. That must have been traumatic. Well, what kind of transmutation spell would even do that? It had to be something that affected his senses. I'm sure I could go through and read all the fucking spells. Oof, I do not want to do all that. You already told us she wasn't acting erratically, but was there anything off about her demeanor? I only saw her for a moment, but she was definitely different than usual. She was completely emotionless. Yeah, that's exactly what she was like when I fought her too. It's like she was an arcane construct. Her movements were almost robotic. Wait, are there any arcane constructs in the cathedral grounds? No. Not for lack of trying on Lord Von Sanctus's part. The High Speaker and I have specifically forbid the staff here from using them. It'd be really convenient if all this was done using a construct. Although, you are a little tired of seeing them in your cases. Anyways, was there anyone else around when Steelwind cast a transmutation spell on you? No, she moved away quickly after she incapacitated me. And even if someone was around, I don't think I could have seen them anyways. Alright. Commander White also said that he was surprised that no one saw the prince until after the spell wore off. What happened to him? That covers the lyrics account of what happened, and we even got the Archduke's statement too. But there's still one last person we need to speak to. Arya. She and Beatrice supposedly have no memories of what happened. If it were only Beatrice saying that, I'd probably doubt it. If Steelwind also doesn't have any memories, it becomes a lot more credible. She definitely has the missing pieces we need to put this together. Are you going to the dungeon to speak with her? I am. Wonderful. I'll be accompanying you. What? As the royal advisor, I have vested interest in the investigation. While I trust Lucio to leave no stone unturned, I hear you have quite the talent for seeing what the crown cannot. Well, that's not as if you have the authority to stop him, but you still don't know him very well. You'll need to be wary of what you say in front of him. Alright. Could it be both Beatrice and Steelwind that did it? But under, someone else's magic. They're, being puppeted, basically. Obviously, that makes sense for Miriam, but I don't know, it's because of the whole blood contract thing. But I guess just because Eris. I guess it's gotta be Eris, right? Like, remember this dungeon and see the prosecutor sitting in a holding cell. She seems extremely stressed. It's as if she's trying to figure something out. Mr. Cuthbert, and your grace. Steelwind gives a very, very look to the Archduke. How are you doing? As best as I can, all things considered. What brings you here? We're trying to investigate everything that happened. I see. I was wondering if you could answer some of our questions. Steelwind, I know your situation is pretty grim right now, but you know you can trust me. I'm not the person I'm worried about. At this moment, I don't even know if I can trust myself. What? What happened? We heard that you don't have any memories of what happened. Is that true? It is. No matter how much I try, I can't recall anything. What is the last thing you do remember? I believe I was at my meeting with the High Speaker and His Majesty. After that meeting, I was planning to return to the nave to speak with my father, but I suddenly felt extremely nauseous. I thought some fresh air might help me feel better, so I went to the balcony. The one over the Gallic Rome. Yes, that one. The last thing I remember was losing consciousness as I looked at the lake. Then did you cast any magic before this happened? No, I didn't. Are you sure you don't remember anything after that? I don't. All I remember is waking up to the sound of someone sobbing. It was Celeste. She was crying over your unconscious body, Mr. Cuthbert. Dude, that's crazy, Celeste. Crying? What are you, little bitch? Magic that can affect the mind. I feel like we've completely ruled out Mage Blight. So I doubt that's why you can't remember anything. Are there any spells that can specifically modify or destroy people's memories? It would certainly explain a lot of this. No. Arcane spells can only affect the physical world. But throughout history, mages have attempted to develop spells that can affect the mind. There's no recorded history of any of them succeeding. But you're assuming that arcane spells are the only type of magic that exists. What? I think you've observed it already. There are magical creatures in this world that don't use arcane magic. Isn't that right, Mr. Cuthbert? What? Does you know about the Eye of Horus? I'm not sure what you're trying to imply. Don't take me for a fool. Several of my associates attended Freyga's trial, and they all heard what that demon referred to you as. Heavens born. If I learned that Lumina had anything to do with this. Lumina? Grace, I'm not an agent of the theocracy. And even if what you're saying is true, I wasn't the one who manipulated Steelwind's memories. But I suppose you raise a good point. If something affected Steelwind's memories, it wasn't necessarily an arcane spell. In fact, it couldn't have been an arcane spell. It was definitely something else. You're probably right. Which proves that I'm responsible for the murders. What? You just said that you don't have any memories of what happened. Why are you so convinced that you're responsible for this? I told the Inquisition already. I saw Beatrice before I passed out. She is clearly involved in this somehow. There's more to this than you realize, Mr. Cuthbert. For the past few months, the Inquisition and I have been investigating a string of seemingly unrelated murders. In each of these cases, we were able to apprehend the perpetrator without issue, but there was always something off about them during questioning. The murderers were always abnormally gruesome and passionate, and each of the perpetrators said the same thing. They all said that they had no choice. No choice. Cases like this have been occurring throughout Wyvengard, and very little connects the perpetrators to each case. All except one thing, each of them acted as if someone had controlled them against their will. They were probably just desperate. Most murderers try to make excuses after they are caught. It could even just be complete denial. Holmes had the same thing. But these cases were far too similar for me to ignore. I wonder if they were telling the truth. Perhaps each of these murders was committed by an unknown party. I don't have any concrete evidence, but I know it's getting closer to something. Whew. Steelwind, I don't mean to be rude, but this sounds completely insane. I don't even have any physical evidence to prove these murders are connected. There's one piece of evidence, but it's hardly concrete. But it does tie each of these cases together. She takes out a small parchment from her pocket and shows it to you. It's a purple symbol. Several of the people we arrested had an item with this symbol on it. None of them could remember where it came from, or even what it was. But they all somehow knew that it was called the Purple Mark. But there has to be an explanation for that. It could just be some esoteric superstition that we don't know about. If that's true, then ask yourself one thing. Where did I get this parchment from? You don't mean... I found it in my pocket after I was properly confined. Whoever I've been chasing must have left it there to taunt me. For all I know, they could have controlled my body and forced me to draw this symbol myself. Either way, this all but proves the massacre of the cathedral is related to it. Oof. I don't want to dismiss what you said, but this definitely won't hold up in court. Nor should it. My mind has been compromised. I can't take the risk of leaving this dungeon. Otherwise, I could end up harming more people. Wait, are you planning to spend the rest of your life in prison? If that is what is necessary to keep everyone safe. What about Asta? When are you two supposed to be married soon? He's the king now, and you can't move Wyvengard alongside him from a holding cell. You're correct, but he's always been a remarkable person. You should have no problem finding another suitress. You feel an overwhelming sadness emanating from her. She says that. Oh, yeah. Whew. No. What? You're not going to sacrifice everything for someone else's actions. Mr. Cuthbert, I'm not going to risk more lives. If I would hurt His Majesty, I would never be able to forgive myself. Please, don't ask that of me. Steelwind's going to throw away everything she cares about for the greater good. Even if she wasn't the one who did all this, she's not the one who's responsible. You can't let her resign herself to a fate like this. Let's do it. I don't need the psychological profile. I've been playing this game long enough. Steelwind, are you seriously just going to throw away your life? If it were necessary, I would give my life for this kingdom. If someone controlled my actions today, they can and will do so again. And as long as that possibility exists, I can't trust myself. Let's assume this person can continue to do so. We don't know how this mind control works. We can't just drop this without finding out what really happened. But that's assuming this person can continue to do so. You said so yourself. You haven't found any evidence to prove your theory. We don't know how this mind control works, and we don't have enough information. We can't just drop this without finding what really happened. I suppose you're right, but I doubt there was any goal to this. It was just a killer. I've been investigating these murders for months. I've never been able to find any personal clues as to who the perpetrator is. There's no way to connect them to this. Whoever did this was a sadistic individual who wanted to cause as much suffering as possible. Can we talk about the murder of Garrick with the frozen blade? The perpetrator wasn't as nearly aimless as you think, and this proves it. My apologies, Tyrion. I don't really see how that proves your claim. Oh. Oh, is it Alaric? Where does it talk about Alaric? That's not true, Steelwind. Whoever did this had very specific targets in mind. Both Prince Alaric and the High Speaker saw you when the murders were being committed. I immediately jumped to the piercing and was like, no, this isn't, random killings. These were intentional, because look at the specific way that he's been murdered. Must have been someone who knew about that case. But Alaric makes more sense. Both Prince Alaric and the High Speaker saw you when the murders were being committed. Not to mention, they set a trap for AotA. What? Let's assume that someone was controlling you. They wouldn't have left Alaric, Arceus, or AotA alive if they were trying to kill as many people as possible. I suppose you have a point there. But even so, that probably narrows things down. If someone was controlling me, they wouldn't need to enter the cathedral to use me. They need to enter the cathedral from the murders. Perhaps you're right. The perpetrator only wanted to murder 3 victims. There's plenty of people who might want to see those 3 dead. Proof that they entered the building. Could be about the glyph. There's one thing you're overlooking. Before the murder started, someone shot AotA with a false cage using glyph of contingency. But they didn't harm him. It was probably just a distraction. Even so, this gives us 2 very important clues. The first is that whoever did this is capable of casting those 2 spells. This means that the perpetrator was a mage. That's true. But the second clue is the most important one. Whoever set that trap for AotA, they did so within 24 hours of it triggering. This means that the perpetrator must have been someone who attended the funeral. So it was one of them? That narrows down our list of suspects substantially. There's a chance we can identify who did this. And if they really did control your actions, we can find a way to prevent them from doing so again. Steelwind, we need to fight this. I can't. What? Why not? Fighting this will put people in danger. If we pursue an individual like this, they might retaliate even more than they already have. They wanted to remove me from my position. How will they react if I try to resist? They might hurt even more people to send a message. It's far too dangerous. Alright, let's do the appeal. Nope. If we let the perpetrator get away with this, we're letting them know that the actions will go unanswered. We need to be strong and fight the Steelwind, no matter the cost. That's easy for you to say. You're not the one putting your loved ones in danger. Whoever did this had a goal far bigger than you, and you have no guarantee that they'll stop here. 3 nobles died today, and 2 of them were near the top of the political hierarchy. What if they decided to go after more victims? Who will they target next? Their father? The king? We need to catch them before they can do more harm. I know you're frightened about what might happen to the people close to you, but we can't let someone that dangerous get away with this. When you put it that way, I suppose I have no other choice, do I? I never realized it before, Mr. Cuthbert. What? You really have a bad habit of butting your nose into other people's business, don't you? Yes, I suppose I do. But you're right. We can't let this go. I'll find a way to dispute this, somehow. Thank you, Mr. Cuthbert. I think we've known each other long enough. You don't need to be so formal. You successfully argued against Arya Steelwind. Perhaps I misjudged you. I know I agreed to fight this, but... what is it? You're the most qualified attorney in the nobility. You'll definitely be able to make a case for yourself. As you probably know, House Civil controls the legislative and judicial branches of our kingdom, and they've nominated my father as the prosecutor for my trial. What? Everyone believes in my theory of mind control. Everyone believes that I overspent my magic and gave myself mage blight. As a result, they blame House Steelwind for Coraline Sybil's death. Now, the only way for him to redeem House Steelwind is to convict me and sentence me to death. But he's your father. There's no way he would... This isn't the first time something like this has happened. When I was a child, my mother accidentally overused her magic and induced mage blight within herself. In a resulting psychotic episode, she massacred an entire village of commoners. No. House Steelwind almost lost everything after that. To redeem himself, my father personally oversaw my mother's trial, and her execution. That's... My father values his duty to Wyvern over everything else. Nothing matters more to him than that, not even his family. I want to have confidence in myself. I don't know if I can face him like this. Mr. Cuthbert, what is your stake in all this? What? You hate the nobility, don't you? So why are you so intent on helping Steelwind? Because she's innocent, I know she is. She would never be irresponsible enough to give herself mage blight. Mr. Cuthbert, it doesn't matter if she's a noble or commoner. She's being oppressed by the system and she deserves a fair trial. Well said. What? I, Remus Virgile, hereby grant you the privilege to serve as Miss Steelwind's counsel. Wait, really? I will be acting as the judge and arbiter of Miss Steelwind's trial. It is within my right to grant such permissions. Thank you. Why would you... Do you think I have made a mistake? No, of course not. I'll serve as Steelwind's attorney, if she will have me. Of course. There's no one else I would trust more with this. And please, you've done a lot for me already. You don't have to be so formal. Please, call me by my first name. Celeste has already taken to doing that. But since you'll be defending me, you'll probably need this. Spell Compendium. Firebolt. Oh, do you have the Sleeper spell? Steelwind Strike. You got your own spell? That's sick. Polymorph? Oh, is that what happened to Alaric? Did it get turned into like a frog? Did it get turned into a worm? Dispel magic. Then it's settled. We will hold the trial at my home, the city of Laidon. Laidon these nuts. God of Laidon? I've never heard of that place. Speak with Lucio. He knows the location well. Alright. He leaves without a word. He really has a bad habit of just walking away from conversations. But I guess we should consider ourselves lucky. Oh my god, it's already 45 minutes. Even if it's unorthodox, the situation will let us approach this like any other trial. You had no idea what you were in for when you agreed to this. And what proceeded next would be unlike any trial you've ever seen, but even so, you persisted as you've always done in the name of justice, and regardless of what you'd have to sacrifice to do so. Well, that's all, I guess. Alright, well. I guess we'll sacrifice people on the next episode of Tyrion Cuthbert, Attorney of the Arcade. Why am I talking like that guy from Honest Trailers?